Okay, everyone. So this is Kelly Urbisi. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We are kicking off week 1 of our 4-week virtual party boot camp. And so I'm really excited to be sharing with you all tonight. And this is being recorded. And so if you are watching this in the future, just to give you a little bit of context, earlier this year, we are currently at the end of August of 2020. And so earlier this year, in March of 2020, we had a global pandemic start. And it caused a major shift in our business from holding in-person parties and appointments to working completely virtually. And so there has been a huge learning curve for a lot of us, a lot of new technology that we are all learning. But the good news is that it really has been a blessing in disguise, because working virtually and being forced to figure out the virtual aspect of our business, it has really allowed us to reach more people all across the country and, just work more efficiently as well. And so, like I said, today we are starting the beginning of a 4-part training series on how to get your business up and running virtually. So we're going to cover everything from the supplies that you need, how to book these appointments, how to hold virtual appointments, and how to recruit from your virtual appointments as well. And so this training really is perfect for brand new consultants. And so if you're brand new to the business and you need to know everything about working virtually, we're going to cover that. Or if you are a seasoned consultant and maybe you were trained on how to do everything in person and now you're having to learn the virtual aspect, this is a great place for you to start as well. Or just anyone who needs a refresher on working virtually. So like I said, tonight we're going to start on the basics, and we're just going to cover like what kind of supplies you need and what are the different ways that you can do virtual appointments. And so that way you can take this next week before our next session to just get prepared, make sure you have all the supplies that you need to hold the appointments the way that you want to hold them. And then next week we will cover booking those appointments, okay? So that is what's going to be coming forward. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, you should know that there's a couple of different ways that you can work virtually. And so probably the way that is closest to what we have always done working in person is doing parties over Zoom like this, face-to-face with people, and mailing out samples in advance for them to use. And so you would be walking them through the products just like you would in person, but they would be using the samples that you had mailed to them on their face, on their own, at home. And so what's great about that is, you're seeing each other face to face. I just think there's a great opportunity for relationship building and just really connecting with your customers. And they get that connection and girlfriend time. And of course, they get to actually see and feel the product on their face. So another platform that you can use if you are wanting to, if someone wants to use samples for their party, but maybe they don't want to use Zoom, maybe they're not all about being on the screen, you can do a Facebook Live party. And so I've done that a couple of different ways. One is where I create a private group or a private event, and I go live in that group or event, and everyone tunes in to watch. And I have done it where I'm just instructing them and like holding up the products and talking about the products, and they're not, they might be trying them at home, but I'm just talking about them and showing them. But another way that I've done it is I've actually washed my face in my bathroom with them at the same time that they're using samples. And the benefit of that is that you can't mail everything to them for them to try as samples, like eye makeup remover and a Skinvigorate cleansing brush. And so they got to see me using in real time certain products that they did not get to try themselves. And so that was a huge benefit because they got to see just how easily our eye makeup remover took off all my eye makeup. And so there's, some benefits to doing that. The one disadvantage is that you're only connecting with them through the comments because you're not seeing them on the screen, but it is still a great way to be engaged with them. And then you're just, washing your face, or you're just talking, by yourself to the screen live, and then you're walking them through how to use the samples if that's what they're doing. And then the last way that you can do parties is like some type of Facebook posting party. And so that is where there is a template of scheduled posts for a theme. So like fall in love with your skin again, or shake up your makeup, or, you know, some kind of glamour or all that skincare event. And you can create a private group and schedule those posts to go off, and then your people are engaging and commenting in the posts throughout that 1 hour session. So with that type of party, you do not need to mail out samples. And so it's not the same level of connection and interaction as you would get over Zoom, but they still get to learn about all the products through the different posts and the videos and things like that that they're seeing in that hour. And so it's another way that you can hold parties. And so if you've ever done like a Pampered Chef party, or, you know, through another direct sales company, that's how they run their party model. And so we can do the same thing through Mary Kay. So it really just depends on, you know, what do you get most excited about? Like, how do you want to run your business? Do you want to offer both options? Do you want to focus on one or focus on the other? It's totally up to you. But those are the different ways that you can do virtual parties in Mary Kay. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the different ways that you can, or the different things that you need for all of these different options. So that way you can be fully prepared and you can decide what makes the most sense for you. Okay, sound good? So let's talk first about doing face-to-face Zoom parties. And so the way that this works is you are typically going to have a hostess who has invited some friends to join her for pampering. And most of the time you have mailed out samples in advance to those people so that they can try the products on their face as you're talking about them. Now, you don't have to mail out samples, okay? Just hear me on that. You don't have to do that. You can get everybody together on Zoom and you can just hold up the products and talk about them. I have certainly done it that way as well, but if you want to engage them a little bit more, I find that having them use the samples is just a little bit better. Or if you wash your face on the camera, then they have someone to watch. It's just a little bit more engaging than just talking about and being Vanna and, like, you know, displaying the products like that. So, so that's just, you know, one way that you can do that. So if you are going to mail out samples, the one thing that I have found to work best for me is I have used a Google form. And it's something that you can very easily create on your own in Google Drive. And what happens is you send out the link for that form and you can have them fill. It's basically like a virtual profile card. And so you're collecting their name, you know, email, phone number, address, birthday, questions about their skin type, oily, dry, or combination, all of that. And so that way you have where you need to mail the samples to and what formula you need to send them as well. And then you have all their information to later put into your My Customers on your InTouch, okay? So that is what I have found to work best for me in gathering that information and having those guests fill out a Google form in advance, okay? I do already have a Google form that you guys can copy, and then you can make your own version of it. And so that way, when people fill it out, the responses come to you instead of them coming to me. So if you want to use that, you can make your own and make sure that your people are sending their answers to you. Okay, does that make sense? And so once you have that information, then you can send out your sample pack. And so give me just 1 second. I need to go and grab my sample pack because I forgot to bring it right over by my screen. So 1 second. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the supplies that you would need to create one of these little beauty sample packs, and then I'm going to talk about where you can find all of these resources, okay? And so this is what mine look like. I don't know if you can see, there you go, the glare there. And so I use these cute little cellophane bags. They are from a company called My Girlfriend's House. And so My Girlfriend's House, you can order from them online. And I have a whole resources document that has links for everything. So you don't need to necessarily write all this down, because I will, make sure that you have access to that resources page with all the links for everything. But inside my sample pack, I put a TimeWise 3D strip of samples. Depending on what the company has in stock, I will normally include a microdermabrasion sample. As of right now, they don't have them in stock, and so I don't have them in stock. So I don't have those in my packets currently. But if they are normal to dry, I will include a moisture renewing gel mask sample. If they are combination to oily, I will include a charcoal mask sample. Okay, so those are all things that you can order on Mary Kay InTouch Section 2. Then I will include a business card. And then I also include a couple of other extras that I order from a company called Pink Printing. So Pink Printing has all kinds of great postcards. I love this one. It says Pamper Me with a Miracle 3D facial. And then on the back are the instructions for how to do the all the steps, including microdermabrasion. And then I also include a little $10 gift card for them. I also ordered that from Pink Printing. And then there's also a little info card about the moisture renewing gel mask. And so I like to include that. Number one, I already had those in stock. So once I started putting these together, I just used those. But that is something that you can use, order if you would like to. But I would say those inserts are optional. It's just nice to, it adds a nice touch in my opinion. And so that's why I like to include them. One more thing that I do include that I'm currently out of stock in, I'm waiting on my order to come in from Pink Printing, as I just ordered some more, is I include a little mini closing sheet. And so it goes over the different set prices for the products that we're talking about during their facial session. So that is all inside the packet that I mail to them. And so I like to include a lookbook as well for them when I mail it to them. So I actually put it in a bubble mailer that looks like this. And so this is an 8.5 by 11 size bubble mailer. I also have the link for this in my resources page. And so you can get like 100 of these for $47 or something like that. But keep in mind, you guys, I like using the cute things. I like the little nice touches because I just think it adds a little something extra to the experience. But if you're a brand new consultant, I want you to hear me. These are things that you can choose to invest in over time in your business. For years and years and years, I just use the cheapest bubble mailers that I could find. The brown ones that you can just get at the dollar store or whatever it is. So just know that a lot of these little extra touches, they are things that you can do gradually. So you don't have to feel like you need to invest in everything up front right away. Okay. So that's what I include in my sample pack when I mail it out to my new customers who are going to be doing skincare with me live over Zoom. Okay. Any questions on that? You can feel free to unmute and ask if you have any questions about the sample packs. No? Okay.
I have one quick one, Kelly.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to ask real quick, did you happen to touch on, because I'm just getting in, so yeah. I'm not sure if you happen to touch on how you go about sending out the spa packs, the people that you choose to do that. If so, I'll run back through and get it from you later. But I'm experiencing an issue with that, and I was just saying this on yesterday, and I had no idea you were going to go over this morning. Yeah. So I'm super excited. Yeah. But I am having that issue where I will send out spa packs, and I will have them booked for a date before they go out, and then they either don't show. Now, for people that have something happen, that's different, but I'm talking about the ones that don't show. They reschedule and don't show. I rearrange my schedule and they don't show, that kind of thing.
Yes. So one of the things that you can choose to do, and I think this is a very smart thing to do if you are a newer consultant, especially. But I ask them to cover the cost of shipping, because when they pay shipping, they usually are more likely to show up.
Okay.
Even if you only charge them $3 via Venmo, because $3 is usually what covers my shipping.
Yes.
And so I, use a bubble mailer like this with a catalog and my little sample pack. It's usually under $3 to ship it, most places in the US. And so that's what I have found helps to make sure that they actually follow through with that. Because I think when they receive it for free, there's just not as much like commitment there. And so I've done it both ways, where I have charged and most of those people follow through, or where I've just decided to do it for free and I've had people flake on me. And so I think it's one of those things where you got to test it and you need to decide what you're most comfortable with in your business. But I think if you're a new consultant, I think it's totally appropriate to say, hey, all the samples and the pampering is completely free. I just ask that you help, chip in $3 to cover the cost of shipping and handling. I include a $10 gift certificate for you though in your packet, just in case you fall in love with anything and you want to use it. And so,
Perfect.
So that's how I address that.
I'll do it. Because I was just saying that. And thank you for the wording, because that was my next question.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like, how do you say, hey, this is free, but I'm charging you? But I think that's the best way to go about it, is to say, hey, everything is free. The pampering is free. There's no obligation to purchase, but I'm just asking all my participants to chip in $3 to cover the cost of shipping. Awesome. And most people don't have a problem with it. And if they do, well, it's just one person, right? And so yeah, it's okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So one other thing that I want to mention is that in these days, a lot of us are trying to avoid leaving the house as much as we can. And so I do all my shipping from home, and I use a website called Pirate Ship. Pirate Ship, like, a pirate ship. And if you go to pirateship.com, it is awesome because you can print out labels from your printer. You can pay for it all online. It's actually discounted rates from what you would be paying at the post office. And so it saves me a lot of money, and it saves me a lot of time, because I can just print out the labels, stick it on my package, and I stick all my packages in my mailbox. And so I don't even have to go to the post office. And so it is a huge time saver. It's a money saver. So I highly recommend looking into Pirate Ship if you do not already use some kind of service like that. You can just get you can order like a scale from Amazon, or you can even use like a kitchen scale. It doesn't matter, to weigh your packages so you know what to enter in there. Okay. All right. Well, let me see what else I need to cover. I'm just looking at my notes. Okay, so that pretty much covers the supplies that you need for sending out samples, how to send out samples, charging or not. So I think that covers those basic things. Any other questions before we move forward? Shelly, do you have a question? You got to unmute yourself.
What do you estimate the cost of the samples runs you?
Maybe like $1.50.
Okay.
To $2 tops, because your 3D samples are $1, and then you've got a microdermabrasion and a charcoal mask or a gel mask. And so I don't remember the price of those like individually off the top of my head, but it's probably under $2. And so if you wanted, I think charging them $3 or $5 if you wanted to cover the cost of everything, you could totally do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Let's talk about, okay, you put together these packs, you have booked the appointment, it's the day of your Zoom session. What do you need for your actual appointment? So one of the things that you'll need is a platform to meet with them on virtually. And so If you are using Zoom, just be aware that if you do not have the paid version, that it does kick you off after 40 minutes. And usually our presentations are a little bit longer than 40 minutes. And so you can opt, if you know that you're going to be doing enough Zooms where it makes sense for you to pay monthly, then you can look into that. Another option is Facebook Rooms. That's always something that you can look into. I have a link in the resources packet on how to set those up and how to do that. So that's another option for you. Or if you're just meeting with someone one-on-one, you can just do like Facebook Messenger video, or you can do FaceTime. So you can use any of those platforms to see people. But you also are going to want to have good lighting. And so you'll want to have some sort of ring light, ideally. I also have linked a couple of options for ring lights in the resources packet, because you want to, have good lighting. You don't want to be shadowed. And so that's a really important thing if you're going to be doing, lots of virtual presentations. Ideally, if you started your business with your $100 starter kit, or if you've been in Mary Kay for a little while, you probably have some products that you can actually hold up as you're talking about them. And I think that really is ideal, because that way when you say, okay, this is your 4-in-1 cleanser, you have a sample packet, so go ahead and open up your sample, but this is what it looks like. This is what the bottle looks like. And so I think it's just helpful for them to see that. So I like, when I do a party, I have all of my products out on my desk so I can hold them up as I'm talking about each one. Okay, so you'll want to have those handy at the start of your appointment. And then you probably want to have your flip chart with you as well. You guys, I've been in Mary Kay 15 years and I still have my flip chart with me when I do parties, like I did one last night. And it just helps me to stay on track. Sometimes when I'm talking about certain products, it's just helpful to have like a few bullet points to look at, for information about those products. And so I like to have my flip chart with me on my desk as I'm doing my Zoom parties. And I personally, on my website, have a packet of supplemental pages that you can add to the flip chart that just gives you more product information about the microdermabrasion, about the charcoal mask, about satin lips, because those are not pages that come in the flip chart that's in your starter kit. And so if you want more scripted verbiage for that, then you can check out my website, which is strongandcourageousunit.com. strongandcourageousunit.com. Go to training center and then virtual parties, and it should be posted there. Okay. So that's what you need to hold a virtual appointment. Now we're going to get into how you actually do one in a future session. So I'm not going to take time to go through that tonight. But we will, in week 3 of this boot camp, what our lesson is going to be is I'm going to do a party on Zoom, and you guys are going to be my guests. And so you're going to walk through the products yourself so that you can experience what your customers are experiencing. And then it will be recorded so that you have it to go back and watch later on. Okay. So any questions about doing parties with samples, either over Zoom or Facebook Live, before we move on? No? Okay, great. So let's talk about the next type of party, and that is a Facebook posting party, okay? So this is something that I have dabbled in. I haven't done a lot of this, but I have started the process of doing it more frequently. And so I will be just sharing what, from my experience, what I think is the most helpful and like the easiest way to do this. Because some people, this might be their favorite thing, and this is the only way that they want to do parties. Or you might be someone who really likes connecting face-to-face, and so you only want to do Zoom parties. It's totally up to you on how you want to run your business, but I just want you to know what your options are. And so with a party like this, what I recommend doing is creating a party group on Facebook for yourself, where you run all of your parties through that one group. And so, for instance, mine is called Pink Happy Hour with Kelly. And so when I have a party, I will have all the posts, going throughout that day of that party with my hostess. I'll give it a couple of days to close out. And then let's say I have another party in that same group a couple of days later, I will go back and delete all the posts, and then I'll have my next party. Okay. And so that way you can keep inviting guests to that same group, and then you can let your guests know, like, hey, you can totally leave this group after the party is done, or you can stick around because there'll be some other parties that are going to be coming up. It's totally up to you. And so that is, I think, the easiest way. So you're not like having to create like a zillion different groups every time that you have a new hostess. The other beauty of that is that you can have multiple hostesses per night that you are holding appointments. And so my suggestion to you, and this is just a suggestion overall on how you want to run your business, but I really think it's important to have like set days that you are willing to hold parties, and then days that you are not. Okay. And so for me personally, I will hold appointments. Well, our meeting is on Monday night, but I could hold a virtual party after that at 8:30. And then Wednesday nights and Thursday nights are working nights for me. And then Tuesday nights I am off, and Friday nights, Saturday nights, and Sunday nights I am off. Every now and then, if I might make exceptions based on what's going on in life and schedules and things like that. But that is what I try to stick to, because I like to be around for my family and for my husband. That's our time together in the evening. And so it's really important, Mary Kay always said, God, family, career. And so that's how I prioritize my business. And so when it's a Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday night, I am working. But if it's not, then I am present with my family. Okay. And so I want you to decide for you what nights you want to be all in working your business and what nights you want to be all in with your family. Okay. So you might want to say, okay, so like Tuesday and Thursday nights, I'm willing to hold parties, via Zoom or, a posting party in my Facebook group. And so, what you'll do is when you have a hostess confirmed for that, that type of party, you're going to add her to your group, and then she can invite her friends to join that group as well. I have been using a new program called Cinch Share. It's basically a program that you can upload a template of all the different posts that you're going to use throughout your party, and then you can schedule them at different intervals to be posted for you throughout the day. So for instance, when I have a party, let's say it starts at 8 o'clock, during the day, I have some pre-party posts that I want to go off every hour and a half. So I start them at 10:30, and then every hour and a half, it's being posted for me. And then the way that I'm doing these parties is at the start time at 8 o'clock, I'm going live in the group to introduce myself, to say hey to my hostess, to remind them of how they can win prizes. And then that's only about 5 or 6 minutes. And then the posts are starting at like 8:08, and then they're scheduled for every 3 minutes until it's done. And then I go back on live again to wrap up the party. And so for me, it's only taking me like 15 minutes of actual time to be live, of course, and then the follow-up afterwards. But what's nice is while the posts are being posted for me, I can be responding to comments, or I can be doing other things if I need to be doing other things during that 30 to 45 minute window of the posting. So I love that about this program, because you can save your different party templates in folders. And so, if I'm doing the same party 2 days later, I just go into that folder, all my posts are already saved, and I just click the times that I want them to be posted, and then done. And then I just go live at my 2 times. So it's a huge time saver, and then you can spend your time doing the follow-up with your customers after the fact. And so I really love that about this type of party. And so, again, the program that I'm using is called Cinch Share, and it is going to be in the resources document that I'm going to make available to all of you guys. And it's not expensive at all. There's a 30-day free trial when you first get started with it. And then it's only $10 a month after that. And so if you did one party like that per month, it would make the cost of that completely worth it. And so I just love that it makes it super simple, and you know, it saves you a lot of time. It might take a little bit of time to get it set up in the beginning. It took me a little bit of time to kind of like figure out the whole program. I actually did do a like a test run in a separate group. Like, one second. I did a test run in a separate group just to make sure that I was doing everything properly. And so that was really a good thing because I needed to work out a couple of kinks. But what's really great, you guys, is that I can actually share my folders with other users. And so that's another thing I'm going to make available to you guys is the links for the different folders. And so that way you can save them and then use them yourself. So you don't have to recreate every single party. You can just use my resources, and that's going to save you like a lot of time. Yes, I know everyone's excited about that. So you guys can literally get going with this right away. And again, it's just a super fun and easy way to do a party. So one of the things that you will need to set up yourself, and you will need to edit some of the posts because they're going to be obviously customized for me. And so you will need to create some Google Forms for feedback. So that way your customers' information is coming to you. And so you'll see the Google Forms that I'm using, and then you can create your own version of that so it comes to you. And another thing that you'll want to make sure that you have is a separate group that is like your VIP group for your customers. And so this is the party group, but then one of the posts towards the end is going to have a link that says, click here to fill out your feedback form and get access to your coupon. And so I give them a $5 coupon if they fill out like the feedback form, which is basically just profile information. And then I have a link for them to click here and they can join my VIP customer group. Okay. And so those are a couple of things that you'll want to make sure that you have set up on your end. Again, in the resources packet, I'm going to have all of this information there so that you know exactly what you need to do. And I know someone asked, where do you find this resource packet? I don't have it on my website yet, but I am going to put it on my website. Again, strongandcourageousunit.com. Go to training center and then virtual parties. Okay. So all of that information is going to be there for you. So questions about Facebook posting parties? No questions? Shelly has a question.
Yeah, when you do the postings that go on, you say they're done, are you actually doing the posting live and taping it, or are you just doing like memes?
So what it is, like, it's like, okay, in the program, let me see if I can bring it up. I cannot minimize the meeting if I'm recording it. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm gonna log in to Cinch Share so you guys, and I'm gonna share my screen so that way you guys can see what I'm talking about.
Kelly, what is it called? Cinch what?
Cinch Share. All right, you guys, you seeing this? Okay, so you see in the upper corner is CINCHSHARE, Cinch Share. And so this is what it looks like on the computer, but you can also download an app on your phone. And I have found that to be the easiest way for me to like create my posts because I had most of my information for virtual parties already saved in my phone. But what's nice is that you can create your own post here. You can upload a picture, and then you can select a folder that you want it to be saved to. And then once you pick your folder, then you hit this little up arrow, up this one, and then you can save it. This one right here is all of your networks. And so like it has the different groups that you want your posts to be able to be automatically posted to. And then this one right here is, so here's my folder, my Skin Deep Facebook Party folder. And so these are all the different posts that I have. And so this one is already done. I have like my message here and everything. And then this one, so everything is either going to be, there's a picture, or sometimes there is going to be a link for them to watch a video, you know, in that thing, okay? And so that's how, so what happens is I select the different posts that I want to be scheduled. And then, so let's just say, for instance, I'm going to post all my pre-party posts right here. Okay, then I'm going to go up to this little hamburger up here and then batch post. And then I pick the date, the time, and then the group that I want it posted to, and then the interval that I want it applied at. And then I post it. So it's pretty, you know, once you've got it down, it's pretty simple on how to do it all. Like once you do it once, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, that's pretty easy. I'm gonna show you one other thing, and that is the Google form. And so this is my Google Drive, you guys, and in your Google Drive, if you go to new, you can create a Google form. So you'll wanna go to more and then Google Forms. And then this is what it looks like when you are creating one yourself, okay? But let's see here. This is the one that I created for feedback during my Facebook posting party. And so there's a link that you can share. So if you go up to send, you can go over here and shorten the link and then copy it. And then you can add it to whatever, like, you know, text you want. But I have them just fill out all of this information for me, their birthday, whose session they attended, how, you know, their skin type, what sets they're interested in for their second appointment, and then some feedback about the business. And so again, this is something that is really super simple to create. The only thing that I want to point out that you'll want to make sure you do is you go to responses and then click on the three little dots here, and then make sure you check to get an email notification when someone fills it out, because otherwise you're not going to know if you got a response. Okay, so was that helpful to see that?
Very helpful. Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions?
You mentioned that you were gonna do a party that we could join in on. Do you know when that's gonna be?
Yeah, it's going to be on the third session of this boot camp, which is going to be Thursday, September 10th. Okay, so next week we're doing our boot camp on a Tuesday because I'm actually going to be out of town on that Thursday. So I didn't want to skip too many weeks. I wanted to get this information out to you guys as soon as possible. So next week we're going to do a Tuesday night, and then the following last two sessions will be on Thursdays. Okay. Okay, so that's all the information I have for you guys on getting started, being prepared, the supplies that you need, the resources you need, the programs you need to hold your virtual appointments. And so I hope that this was a really helpful overview for you. And so my challenge to you guys is to decide how you want to run your parties. You know, do you want to do Zoom parties with sending out samples? If so, my challenge to you is this week, make sure you order samples and you order the supplies that you need, and make sure that you get that done. So next week when we talk about booking, you can like start booking those people right away and feel confident because you have what you need to send them once you book them. And then if you want to dive into the Facebook posting parties, then, you know, check out SinchShare and create your party group and, you know, get all of those things set up, and then decide what nights you want to hold those parties, because that way, you know, you can just get moving forward with your bookings and you know when you're available. I think that's half the battle for some people. Is what holds them back is they don't know when they're going to plug people in if they book them. And so you need to have that decided in advance. You don't want to be like just, you know, offering whatever time slot is available to your customers, because you want to, you know, protect the times that you are working and you are not. Okay. So I think that is it for tonight. So if there's no other questions, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. But I will make sure that the resources page is added to my website, so you guys have access to that right away. I'll make sure that it gets done tonight. And again, it's strongendcourageousunit.com under the training center and then virtual parties. So check that out, and then let me know if you have any questions. And I will see you guys back here next week on Tuesday for the second session of our boot camp. Okay?
Thanks, Kevin.
Awesome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thanks, everyone. Helen, do you have a question, or are you good?
No, I was just gonna say thank you, and thank you for being so generous with all this information, because there
Yeah.
are times like right now I'm struggling and I'm trying to, you know, just trying to learn as much as I can. And, you know, you've given us so much information already, like just today. And
Good.
I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, you guys, you know, this was a learning curve for all of us, you know, like myself included. And so once I learn something that I find is working for me, I'm going to share it with you guys, because I know that it can be a little bit intimidating to learn. But just think about it, you guys. When you were brand new consultants and you learned how to do in-person parties, if that's what you learned, some of you have been new since, you know, this pandemic started, but that was nerve-wracking too, and that was intimidating too, to learn the script and to learn, you know, what the stuff you needed to bring with you to those appointments. But you just do it. And you can do this too. This is definitely not as hard as you might think it is. You just have to take the time to figure it out. And it's figure outable, you guys. So I promise that you can do this. You can do it well. And you can, you know, make sure that your business is successful and bringing in some great income for you guys, because that's why we're here. So I want to see you succeed, and I want to see that income coming into your families and making a difference, because that's what it's all about. Okay? All right, everyone. Well, thanks for your time. It was great to see you all tonight, and we will chat next week. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.